Lot to go over. You know who I am. You know what this channel is and what it's about, so I want to get right to business. Monday Night Raw, November 5th, 2018. An absolute clusterfuck like I told you it was gonna be in yesterday's preview video. The post-Crown Jewel Monday Night Raw. 13 days away from Survivor Series. And is this Survivor Series picture any more clearer than before we started Monday Night Raw last night? Is Survivor Series any more exciting to you? Any more than before Monday Night Raw hit the air last night? I'm pretty sure the answer is no to all of these questions. We start Monday Night Raw off with Baron Corbin in the middle of the ring, and I'm telling you right now, Baron Corbin to me is exceptional. He is one of the saving graces of Monday Night Raw right now. Baron Corbin is really embracing this GM heel role character, and he's fucking flying to the moon with it, and he ain't coming back. He's taking his ball, and he's going right to the fucking end zone. Baron Corbin is scoring every time he gets the ball. When he gets that mic, he is hilarious, I feel. He plays the coward. I'll think of anything, any excuse to get out of anything or to misconstrue shit or to make things go into my favor. I will do anything, say anything. I love it, man. There's comedy, but he's also abusing his power. And when you mix those things together, you have an awesome authority heel figure. So I love what Baron Corbin's doing in the middle of the ring. Kurt Angle on the microphone last night when he was having that back and forth with Corbin was fucking exceptional as well. That was the Kurt Angle of old on that microphone. He really gets into his promo. He believes in what he is saying. That does a lot for the audience at home who wants to believe in what the fuck they're watching. And believe that there's actually animosity. So I like what I saw between Corbin and Angle right at the beginning of the show. Why you needed every superstar up at the stage for this nonsensical segment is beyond me. Because when it was all said and done, every superstar at the top of the stage actually only made it look stupid. Only made the segment look embarrassing when it was all said and done. There was no need for everybody to be up top at that ramp. Baron Corbin could have said what he needed to say without every superstar up at the ramp. He brings out Alexa Bliss, and for some reason, Alexa Bliss is making matches. She's got her, like, fucking little lady pantsuit on, and she's making matches. How is that in the realm of believable? How does that any sense of reality come into play there when one of your superstars who has no authority whatsoever, even if Baron Corbin bestows power upon her, she doesn't have that kind of power to just make matches. She just doesn't. But she was. She's putting Sasha, Bayley, and Natty in an amazing Evolution rematch with the Riot Squad. Apparently, Alexa Bliss, not only does she not wrestle every Monday, barely shows up every Monday night, but apparently she doesn't even watch the fucking product because it's not just an Evolution rematch. Bayley and Sasha have been taking on the Riot Squad 7,649 fucking times. I assure you of that. Adding Natty into it doesn't do anything different. Not for me, not for you, not for anybody. We've seen Ember Moon in that role. We've seen a plethora of females in the role of the third wheel taking on the Riot Squad. It doesn't make a fucking difference. At the end of the day, it's Sasha and Bayley versus the Riot Squad. We're not fucking dumb. We understand that. This isn't just an Evolution rematch. So, Alexa Bliss is out there making fucking matches now. And what the fuck? And I like Alexa Bliss, alright? I'm not a fan because I just don't think she's exceptional. But I like her, the person. But somebody tell me what value she's bringing to the WWE. Somebody, anybody tell me the value. Because when it comes to wrestling, there's a plethora of females way better, right? We all can agree on that. So, wrestling-wise, she's not even the fucking that good. Then you go on to the fact that she's always fucking hurt. So you can't even really depend on her People like to say Sasha gets hurt. Sasha's at least going full fucking throttle and still doesn't get hurt nearly as much as Alexa Bliss. Sasha Banks doesn't take nearly amount of time off like Alexa Bliss does. It seems like Alexa Bliss is never wrestling. So not only is she not that great anyway, on top of that, she's always getting hurt. And on top of that, and maybe more eye-opening to all of us, is that she's barely on the fucking show in any relevant capacity. How is she always in the main spots with great storylines and always getting championships thrown at her? And you got somebody like Sasha dwindling around, not even in the mid-card. Not even, always at the beginning of the card, or totally just irrelevant to begin with. Just an afterthought before the show even starts. Sasha Banks is already an afterthought. Ember Moon isn't even fucking known to the casual fan. The casual fan probably doesn't even know Ember Moon because they might see her on a 4-minute segment every Monday and she's always losing. Sasha Banks, Ember Moon, even fucking Bayley I'll give you, who I've been hard on, but she's starting to fucking kick it into high gear lately. But Bayley, what she was doing in NXT, she comes here, she's an afterthought. Alexa Bliss has the world handed to her with a fucking perfectly wrapped presentation and a little bow on top. And the females that can actually go out there and wrestle much better. Afterthoughts. Nonsensical segments, if they even get a segment. Alexa, getting hurt every other week, doesn't even show up every fucking week. How often does Alexa Bliss wrestle on Monday Night Raw? About as much as Brock Lesnar almost. So yeah, I'm a little heated there, and that's when you know the Amplified Man's heated, because I actually like Alexa Bliss. But I can't fucking fathom why Vince McMahon sees the world in her. She's not fucking great in any capacity. Her mic work, I like, absolutely. But when you show up on a Brock Lesnar wrestling schedule, basically, every other fucking week she's just on commentary or just cutting a promo, she's not fucking wrestling. We expect that with Ronda Rousey because she's still getting her fucking ball bearings in order. She's still fucking learning this shit. They don't want to overexpose somebody like Rousey, but you're going to put Alexa Bliss in Rousey's fucking league in that category? So anyway, this all starts with Alexa Bliss making matches, and she makes another fucking rematch with Sasha and Bayley versus the Riot Squad. So now, Alexa Bliss is the fucking interim boss of Sasha Banks all of a sudden. I fucking can't even fathom that. And then it ends. Oh, this is the best part. It gets better, guys. Braun Strowman comes down and starts beating up the security that Baron Corbin had around ringside. Okay, the same thing I told you was going to happen in yesterday's preview of Raw. I already called. My whole preview video all ended up coming true. You guys realize that? If you saw the preview video, you understand that BC Amplified called this whole thing. And that is a shame when I know how predictable Raw is that I'm going to call the whole show before it even happens. And yes, that was a taped show, by the way, but you go back and look at the timetable. Before it actually took place in Manchester, my video was out hours before. So, this goes to show you how predictable Monday Night Raw is to the point where the critics of the show, the reviewers, are calling that shit out before it even happens. And I called out that Braun Strowman was just going to come out because they knew they fucked up. WWE took the easy way out. Brock can't have more than a 3-minute match as it is. You throw the belt on Brock, you do it in squash fashion. And Vince is like, oh, we'll build him up on Monday. Don't worry, let Braun get squashed. We know how to build up Braun because it worked before. Well, here's the thing, Vince. You ever hear of the story, The Boy That Cried Wolf? Look it up. Because when you take people to the mill too many times, when you make people believe something so many times, but they end up looking like a fool for believing it, you can only do that so much before that person says, ain't buying it, no way, motherfucker. And that's what the Amplified Man did last night. I love when the security gets tossed around. I love when a superstar is beating the fuck out of suits and ties backstage. That's why we loved Braun Strowman. That's why Braun Strowman was being built up to be an actual superstar. You were actually starting to create a star. And then because you wanted Roman Reigns to have the sole spotlight and nobody else around him, you turned Braun Strowman heel for no reason. You ruined months of building him up like a true monster, like a true superstar, because you thought he would interfere with Roman's FaceTime. And you ruined Braun Strowman. And the only way to get that star quality back is if he has a big win for that Universal Vacant Championship. And not only losing it, not only giving it to Brock Lesnar. I could be okay with that maybe. You would really have to sell me on that. But maybe I can come to terms with that. But the way that you squashed Braun Strowman, that's unacceptable. That's inexcusable. And that is something I will never forget. How easy Braun Strowman can be defeated. Getting zero offense. A guy who used to flip cars. I saw a whole set topple over on him before. I've seen him get covered in debris, tables, chairs, ladders, you name it. And this motherfucker kept getting back up and destroying shit. But a title shot to the back of the head and some F5s and he can't amount any offense? And Vince was like, on Monday, we'll let him just be the monster again. No! Because I already know what happens. You're incapable of finishing what you started. You're not actually going to make him a superstar. So why am I going to get all giddy like a 6-year-old in a candy shop watching Braun Strowman beat the fuck out of security in suits and ties backstage when I know where this is going to lead to? You don't know how to finish the booking job. You're going to make him look like a fucking clown in a joke next week or at Survivor Series. So I'm not looking at last night and going, wow, this is all the shit I love. This is how you book Braun. Finally, they're doing it again. Golf clap. No. You destroyed this motherfucker. It was going to take a lot more than just beating up security in some suits and ties and acting like a fucking child throwing a temper tantrum to get me invested in Braun again. You're not going to fool me again. You got me once, Vince. You ain't getting me again, motherfucker. You're going to have to invest a lot more in the Braun, and then you're going to have to finish the job and make him a superstar. Don't worry about not making any superstars for that when Roman comes back, he'll be your only superstar, and we'll all have to cheer for him. And he'll be the sentimental favorite too. No. Build superstars. Don't worry about getting UFC rubs from Brock Lesnar or main fucking... What the fuck am I even saying? This show is making me lose fucking brain cells. Mainstream media outreach from Nikki Bella, don't worry about that. The UFC rub from Brock, don't worry about that. Create your own superstars. It started with Brock and Braun Strowman at Crown Jewel. How the fuck you give that to Brock in that way over Braun? And then you just make Braun look like the beast, the monster that you once had him as if none of this ever happened? He didn't lose in embarrassing format and fashion to Brock. Now he's just looking like the monster again. We're all supposed to forget about that. That is what I can't stand about McMahon in this new WWE. They honestly think people are just dumb as fuck. And maybe we are getting dumber by watching this shit every Monday night. But they expect you to just forget everything you just watched the week before. Why not? It's easier for them. They can concentrate on the XFL. They can concentrate on NXT. They can concentrate on the next women's movement in March and protest. Why pay attention to the product? The casual dipshits are taking in everything. Can I have some more? This is fucking great. This is the best WWE ever. That just pisses me off more when you see Braun Strowman like that last night and you're like, where the fuck was that Friday afternoon in Saudi Arabia? Why the fuck was Braun Strowman not getting any off it? Why wasn't Braun looking like a monster? Even if you're going to give the belt to Brock, what the fuck are you doing to Braun? And then they just have him a couple days later like the old school monster, and we're like, what the fuck? He's hot and cold. You never know which Braun you're gonna get. So obviously I'm not gonna invest in somebody who I can't depend on. If you can't depend on somebody, you're not gonna fucking invest in them. You're not gonna rely on them. I can't depend on how they book Braun. I can't depend on how Braun's gonna show up. Is he gonna be a monster one day, or is he just gonna be a child throwing a temper tantrum? Is he just gonna lose from a fucking clothesline one day? Who knows? That's how they booked Braun, like an absolute fucking joke. If it seems I spent too much time on this, I didn't spend enough time on it, trust me. The rest of the show had Braun Strowman backstage looking for Baron Corbin. The only highlight of these backstage segments for me was Baron Corbin in his comedy with Charlie Caruso. Every time Corbin would try to hide, Charlie would find him. And Baron would be like, Charlie, what are you doing? You're telling the world where I am. So, I fucking love, again, I can't give enough praise to Baron Corbin. He was saving these segments. Otherwise, this is the same shit we've seen from Braun. I used to like it, but you already fooled all of us. You already showed us that this is not going to lead to anything. You don't have any big plans for Braun. Nobody's fucking stupid, so I'm not going to be such. And the whole everybody up at the top of the rampway shit. Why was every superstar there? When Braun ended up going back to the back and Baron Corbin, all the superstars just started fighting each other. That was stupid! They were all just standing there like best buddies beforehand, and then Baron and Braun walk up, and they just start beating the shit out of each other. That's one thing if there was like teams within the brand that were taking on each other at Survivor Series, but it's not. It's Raw versus SmackDown. So what the fuck is the Raw locker room imploding in the first segment, which clearly it didn't even lead to anything afterwards? That is why I call out every aspect of every segment, guys. Because it doesn't make sense. They're putting out this huge product, this multi-billion-dollar conglomerate company is putting out this 3-hour product on national cable, on cable fucking television, all over the fucking nations. And it doesn't make sense. What television show do you know that we're supposed to enjoy puts a product out that just never makes sense every week? If a product in a show doesn't make sense every week, more than likely, you're just not gonna watch because it's dumb as fuck. I love this shit way too much, and I know what it's capable of. I know what it should be and what it could be, and I'm hoping that it still is going to be one day. But fuck! These fucking... They're just creative logic holes. Gaps. That are feet wide, and nobody is noticing, or just nobody's caring. I don't know which is worse. The suits and ties not noticing? This lack of fucking creativity? This lack of believability? The lack of reality? Is that worse than them just not knowing it? They either don't know it or they just don't fucking care. I don't know which one's worse. And that was all the first segment. I don't even know how fucking long that went. That was the first fucking segment. I'll try to keep the rest shorter. But right out of the gate, I don't know why Alexa Bliss is making matches. I don't know why we're getting Monster Braun, or I do know why, because WWE knew they fucked up. But how they feel like just reverting back to old Braun is going to make us forget about Friday. Alexa's making matches. All the superstars are up at the rampway beating each other up for no reason. None of it made sense! And then, how can the Amplified Man just take a breath, drink some fucking water or something and relax? How can I do that? The first match of the fucking card, the first match of Raw, Sasha, Bayley, Natty versus the Riot Squad, and another rematch. And it, as if this 7,649th rematch isn't bad enough, the ending will send all of us wanting to put our head through every cement wall we see this morning. Because the ending, you can't make this shit up. Natty brought her father, the Anvil Neidhart's glasses to the ring for some reason, as if something wasn't going to happen to them. And at the end of this match, Ruby Riott takes Anvil's glasses and he breaks them in front of Natty. She breaks them. She breaks the glasses in front of Natty. And then, for some reason, Ruby, Logan, and Morgan go up the rampway. They leave. And Natty gets out of the ring and starts bawling, crying over these broken sunglasses. Sasha and Bayley go over to Natty. They're in awe like somebody just died. Like this is a funeral of somebody they all were in awe. Natty is in tears like she just... And the referee, his one job is to count everybody at this point, right? His one job is to just count from 1 to 10. Because nobody is in the ring anymore! That's called a count out! If you show up to McDonald's for your job, chances are your job is to either take the people's money or make the burgers. If you show up and you just stare at people, you're probably not going to get paid. If you work at Home Depot, your job is probably to answer questions about wood and metal. If you don't know anything about wood and metal, you probably won't have a job. If your job is a referee, you're probably, your only job is to count shit. He wasn't counting at all. The referee was in awe, like Sasha, Bayley, Natty, and fucking Ruby. Everybody was in awe of broken glasses, except people with brains like the fucking fans in Manchester who didn't know why the ref wasn't counting. This segment was so bad, the referee was serenaded by Manchester. Manchester had to take it into their own hands. The entire arena started counting for the ref. 1 to 10, Manchester counted out every individual. The referee, while they were all counting, looked even dumber as fuck. He was like, oh fuck. He's probably thinking, Vince, they're counting. Vince, what am I supposed to do, man? They're on to me. I'm not counting, Vince. Vince, can I just count? What should I do? Vince is like, just let it go. Let it go. The fans at home are dumb as fuck. They'll forget about this in 2 segments. So Manchester counts everybody out. Thank you, Manchester. That is a fucking count out. Double count out. Everybody count out. However you want to fucking call it. The referee's final decision, we think, is a throw-out match. It's basically a no contest. The referee never counted. But the fans took it into their own hands, and I love that. And the fans said, fuck no contest. That's not the rules. That is a count out. A double count out. And the fans decided that match. Thank you. So that is not a no contest. We all know what this is leading to. Another rematch! Because according to the ref, there was an indecisive winners. No winners. Bullshit. Manchester said, fuck this shit. We're making a fucking decision tonight. And everyone's crying. Natty and Sasha shocked and Bayley shocked over broken sunglasses. I understand the sentimental value. Tape those sons of bitches up, put them in a plaque and hang them on your wall. Battle scars and battle wounds. Your father would have been proud. If that was really his glasses. Obviously they were not, so don't worry, fans at home. BC, it's a sentimental thing. That's her father's goal. No, it's not. But even in the story, even storyline-wise, if we're to believe those were her father's real glasses, that's enough to just stop the match? To cry like you just lost everybody that you've ever fucking loved in the history of your fucking life? They're sunglasses! And the referee's like, what's going on? What is my job? Vince, I can't count. Sunglasses were broken. Great job by Natty with the tears, by the way. Natty was letting it flow, man. Maybe that was some real, like, Charlotte Flair type emotion. Sasha Banks type emotion. Every time Charlotte and Sasha have an interview about some women's movement type shit, they're busting out in tears. Natty was fucking drooling from the mouth. That was some good selling, but it doesn't help the fact that it was fucking a rematch for the 7,649th time, and the ending this time was worse than I've ever fucking seen these teams. And probably even worse, and it will be, is next week on Raw. Get ready for the rematch times 100. Oh, I'm sorry. Times 7,649. And we'll get it again next week. And who knows? Maybe Ruby Riott starts crying because somebody made fun of her tattoos. So that stops the match. And we'll have a rematch at Survivor Series. Think about this. The whole year for Sasha Banks, from April to, obviously we're closing out the year, it'll still be with the Riot Squad. The whole year, guys, for Sasha Banks has just been a feud with the Riot Squad. Isn't that insane? Her accomplishments in NXT, her accomplishments when she got to the main roster, in all of 2018 will be remembered for just wrestling the Riot Squad. I can't even call it feuding with the Riot Squad. This ain't no fucking feud. This is just wrestling the Riot Squad. A talent like Sasha Banks, you talk about being held down, she can't even try her skills out and talents out with other female talent. They just have her stuck with the Riot Squad the whole year. How the fuck is Sasha Banks supposed to grow even better as a talent? If you're not giving her the room to do so, giving her the matches, giving her the platform to do such. It's almost like they're trying to stifle her. Again, I think something horrible happened politically backstage with Sasha, because this is fucking dreadful and embarrassing to watch. I'll move on, but it won't get any better. Because now we have Nia Jax taking on Ember Moon again, just like I called in my preview video. And I was kind of making a joke because I knew Sasha, Bayley, and Natty were going to take on the Riot Squad. So I was like, don't be surprised if you see Ember and Nia in there again in that preview video. And I also said don't be surprised to see Tamina come out because eventually Nia and Tamina will form a tag team to go after the eventual tag team straps in the future for the women. I said all of that in my preview video, and it all came to fruition. Either I am literally the smartest man in pro wrestling as I claim, and or WWE is just that fucking predictable. I think it's both. Because that's what happened. Nia and Ember is just being fed to Nia. Okay, so Ember Moon, this incredible fucking talent, in WWE, outside of WWE, one of the best female talents in the world is Ember Moon. She has all this success in NXT. She comes to the main roster. She has not been in one meaningful feud, not one meaningful storyline, not one meaningful match. Does WWE even know who the fuck Ember Moon is? Or what she's capable of? Or like I put in my tweet last night about Ember Moon, is she just in this company to fill their minority quota? Does she fit that fucking quota for you? But she's not good enough for anything else? But Nia, let's all fucking hail to the Samoans. The Samoans get it all, baby. If you're related in any way, or if you're tied in any way to Roman Reigns, you're on the fast track to success. Or any ties to The Rock, you're fast tracking to success, baby. But if you got actual skill, that's a million times better than Nia and Tamina put together. You ain't going nowhere. You're gonna be jobbing out. So Nia beats Ember Moon. I think it was just like a Samoan drop. Not only does Ember Moon lose again to Nia, but it's just a Samoan drop. And then afterwards, let's bury Ember Moon. Let's fucking really, kick her down. Tamina comes out like anybody in the world gives a fuck about Tamina Snuka. How she has a job in WWE. I'm flabbergasted and mind-boggled to the nth degree. So, Tamina comes out. And Tamina's fucking like, let's do this. And Nia's like, yeah, let's do it. And all of a sudden, they just both start beating up Ember. So I called it in my preview video. Eventually, Tamina and Nia were going to form a tag team. But that's how it was done. Nia turns heel again by just going, okay, let's do it. And they beat the fuck out of an already beaten Ember Moon. So, I can't make this shit up. Where do you go with this? This isn't, I mean, anybody that used to go, BC, you're just like over negative on this shit. And you're over criticizing them. And how else would you look at this? Nia Jax has been on the main roster maybe 2 years tops, right? Correct? Roughly? If even? But 2 years I'll give her. Maybe even less. She's already had 4 face heel turns. 4! How do you turn somebody face heel 4 times in less than 2 years? She is on the road to the Big Show in Kane status. And at this point, Braun Strowman is on that same train. Because it looks like Braun Strowman is being positioned for a face now. Taking on the authority like Baron Corbin. So, Braun Strowman, face, heel. Nia Jax, face, heel. And now you know what I mean about confusing as fuck. Fuck the diehard fans. We can at least fucking see through the bullshit. The casual fan, what the fuck are they gonna think? Or do they just not think? Is that what Vince McMahon is banking on? That maybe the casual fan doesn't think or doesn't have a fucking brain? Nia Jax just turned heel like nothing, middle of Raw. And it's because her character, we never knew what it really was anyway. It was never defined. We never knew if she was face or heel anyway. Because she's insignificant. She's a nonsensical piece to the puzzle. Tamina isn't even part of the puzzle. Nia Jax is a insignificant part of the puzzle. Big difference. We'll put them together and we'll bury Ember some more. And now Nia Jax and Tamina are a fucking formidable, badass unit to take on Ronda Rousey. You need to have Nia heel. This all stems back from the beginning. Winning the fucking nonsensical battle royal that Nia Jax won at Crown Jewel. Or fucking Evolution, I'm sorry. We already saw Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey. Why do we need to see this again? And in the process, you just literally buried Ember. That's right. On this channel, if you guys follow religiously, you guys know there's 2 words I hate using. Deserved, which I'll use occasionally, but that's when you know it's important and somebody actually deserves something. I hate using deserves and buried. Because in today's professional wrestling world, everybody's buried every time they lose. So I never use the word buried, but I'm saying it now. Ember Moon, officially buried. And it is a fucking joke. Because the problem with that is she's buried alive. She is still kicking and rocking and can give you so much. And has so much skill in her talent and so much talent in her fucking pinky finger that Nia and Tamina together fully. It is a damn shame what has happened to Ember Moon. What has happened to Sasha Banks. So that's a couple of rematches. Not even done. If you thought, I'm going to move on, but if you think this gets better, it doesn't. I'm going to give you another rematch from last week. Bobby Lashley takes on fucking Finn Balor. Lashley beats Finn Balor this time, unlike last week, which was a DQ. So I think Balor won last week. That's what I mean about 50-50 booking. What the fuck happened to Bobby Lashley gets the win. That's good. Bobby Lashley needs to be being built. You just turned him heel. How the fuck is he losing that simplistically to, or in the first round of the Crown Jewel Best in the World tournament? How the fuck was Bobby Lashley looking like a chump that easily Friday? When you just turned him heel. That's the time he needs to be built. So luckily you throw him a bone and he wins. But what does it say to that's what I mean. Nothing makes sense. Yes, Lashley should be winning, but he shouldn't be in there with a guy like Balor because Balor needs pushes as well. They don't know what they're doing. They just throw rematches every week, and every week it's a different winner. So it's literally 50-50 booking. The problem with that, there's a million problems with it, but the main problem with 50-50 booking is you will never be able to make a superstar that way. That's the truth, guys. You will never create a superstar with 50-50 booking. I know this. Stone Cold, never 50-50 booked. Made a star. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, never 50-50 booked. Because they would never been huge if they're just losing all the time. So that's great for Lashley. Needed to happen. Balor, what the fuck? And then afterwards, wasn't Finn Balor destroyed afterwards even more? I think fucking Drew McIntyre came to the ring. A cool little stare down between Lashley and McIntyre, by the way. I like the fucking friction. It was like this real fucking chemistry. This real emotion and facial expression for the both of them. I like that. And then Lashley left the ring. I don't know what that says for the future. Maybe that was just a little fucking passing moment and nothing will come of it. But I like that. But Drew McIntyre beats the shit out of Balor afterwards. So Balor just got the double duty just like fucking Ember Moon. First you get beat and then you get the beat down. And Balor, man, you know, all props to the gay community and all that shit, man. You know, do your thing. That's awesome. But Finn Balor bouncing around the ring like a bag of Skittles with his little rainbow socks. What the fuck? Whatever happened to the demon? It's bad enough we got pop collar, always smiling Finn Balor. With the Balor Club, too sweet. It's bad enough we got that and not the demon. Now he's walking around like a fucking shooting rainbow. Again, I understand what he's trying to represent, and I think that's awesome. And we could talk about it and stand up to bullying. And I love the concept, but are the socks needed? Fuck. Another rematch. What the fuck? How about the tag team championships, guys? Obviously, this needed to happen because WWE backed themselves in a corner. They made Seth and Dean win the titles a couple of weeks ago, and then they just had Dean turn on Seth moments after they won the titles. What the fuck was the end game? Vince doesn't know what the end game was. Vince just shows up every Monday morning, it seems, and he's just like, let's just do this, and we'll worry about it next week. Because he's just thinking about the XFL right now. That's it. So, you actually had Seth Rollins drop the titles last night by himself to the AOP. We're all like, fucking about time for the AOP, right? I always hate when people win championships early in their main roster career. Because then everyone starts to think everybody deserves it. But the AOP was literally, when they showed up, the dominant tag team. Nobody was truthfully going to beat them. And then they got booked like clowns, so nobody believed in them anymore. So last night did nothing for them. Even on commentary, Michael Cole did nothing to build the AOP. Because they kept reassuring us and reinforming us on commentary that this is a foregone conclusion. Seth is by himself. AOP is obviously going to win the titles. That's what they were basically coming right out and saying on commentary. And AOP beats one person for the tag titles. What does that do for them? They didn't win it and show people that they're the dominant tag team. It was a 2-on-1. That shows you Vince doesn't know how to use AOP. And this was just a default. Because he knows the Revival are never going to be over. The B team was a fucking failure. The Lucha Summer House Party with their little piñata, whatever the fuck, that was such a failure. They weren't even used last night. So by default, he puts them on AOP. But he made sure it wasn't in dominant fashion. He made sure that people weren't going to give a fuck about the AOP when they got the titles. And even when the 3 count was performed and fucking done, and the referee, this one actually knew how to count. Unlike the Sasha match earlier. This one counts to 3, and even Michael Cole was like, and that's it. AOP wins the championships. There was no excitement. There was no like, wow moment. We have new champions. The middle of Monday Night Raw. Not even the main event and done in a cool way, a creative way to put the straps on AOP. Championships of the world are changed hands in the middle of Monday Night Raw with zero excitement. And Ambrose comes in afterwards, and I like this. Ambrose just gets on the mic and tells Rollins, you want to know why I did what I did, why I turned on you? And instead of giving him an answer, he just gives him a dirty deeds. I like that, but it was too little too late. The damage was already done. The bad taste was already left with all of us. That the AOP just won in the middle of a Monday Night Raw with no creativity or excitement behind it. It felt like a dry title change to me. It just, man, it lacks so much. When titles change hands, we're supposed to be like, wow, that was just, it was bad. And not even Dean Ambrose could save that. And again, I actually like where they're going with Dean and Seth. This is one storyline I'm actually semi-intrigued with. But man, I would have went a million different awesome creative epic ways with this whole segment. If you did want to put the straps on AOP, if you had to last night, let's rock. But there's ways to do it to make everybody look really strong. AOP wins the titles. That didn't tell me they're strong at all. And that's not how a team like AOP should be winning tag straps. Or booked in general. Mind-boggling, man. Apollo... I wanted to say Creed, man. There's a new Creed movie coming out. So now I'm thinking Apollo Creed. The movie Creed. Apollo Crews. He just defeated Jinder Mahal last night. Everyone's like, BC, you got to be happy with that, right? You've been saying Apollo needs to win because he just turned face. So he just had a turn. So when you turn somebody, that's when you got to give them the most momentum. Absolutely. So my mind is boggled that they turned Apollo and then they just had him lose several weeks in a row. What the fuck did the turn do? And then all of a sudden last night, he picks up a win out of nowhere. All of a sudden last night, a switch turned in WWE's non-creative brain, and they're like, oh, maybe we should give Apollo a victory. So Apollo wins, which is good. That's what should have been happening all along. But it's over Jinder Mahal. So, and again, I know a lot of people don't like Jinder Mahal, but you're not understanding where I'm going with this. You're not thinking about this logically. Jinder Mahal, they're also trying to 50-50 book and make people believe is relevant. So, it's just one person wins that should have, another person loses that shouldn't. Two wrongs don't make a right. Right? That's something we learn as when we're kids. Two wrongs never make a right. So I don't see how 50-50 booking on both ways is going to benefit anybody. Because I promise you, Apollo will lose next week or the week after. Mahal will win next week or the week after. So what is this doing for both? It's a squash. They cancel each other out. And in the process, why this angers me and frustrates me is because, guys, it doesn't create anything. It doesn't create future superstars. It doesn't create anybody that we can get into and invest into. It doesn't create good storylines or feuds. Because every week it's just the same shit. And every other week it's win or loss. Win or just trade it off. Nobody's consistent. Nobody's dominant. And that's not a good thing. This isn't like NASCAR where it's a level playing field. All the cars are almost identical to each other, so nobody's got a clear advantage. Isn't that good? No, in pro wrestling, we need to create stars. We need those people on the pedestal that everyone else is trying to get to that level. Instead, every week you can beat anybody at any time. Ronda Rousey had just another great promo. This has to be just Paul Heyman working in detail with her. Guys, Ronda Rousey is not missing a beat. She's not fucking stuttering. She's not fucking her words. I mean, what the fuck? I thought that was going to be her biggest fucking problem. Was the microphone. Because she is naturally shy. And it's like, and we knew that was Roman Reigns' big issue. And so they actually worked with him extensively. They actually had him go to acting classes, guys. So he could work on his promos. And I guess you could say they got a little better, but they never really manifested into anything that great, Roman Reigns' promos. With Ronda, she hasn't even been on the main roster that long, and she's killing it. So she goes out there, and this is one of the hardest things you're asking her to do. Have a promo war with Becky fucking Lynch, who is just burning motherfuckers left and right on television and on social media. Nobody is winning a mic war with Becky right now. But Ronda went out there, and before she could even start, Ronda's like, I understand everyone loves you, Becky, and Manchester just starts chanting Becky, or at least a good percentage of them. You could audibly hear it, and Ronda was brilliant. This was the first real test to see how Ronda does when the fans turn on her. And Ronda goes, see? And she puts the mic to Manchester and says, they love you. Fucking brilliant. That's gotta be Paul Heyman going, hey, if they do this, do this. I loved it, man. That was just so cool. And then she went out and delivered another good promo. And telling Becky Lynch that you call yourself the man, but I'm a natural-born killer. And she tells Becky Lynch, she talks about breaking her arm, obviously. She's hitting all of the Ronda Rousey bullet points. But when it was all said and done, she told Becky Lynch, I'm the baddest bitch on the planet. Mic drop, motherfucker! You can call yourself the man, but I'm a natural-born killer, and I'm the baddest bitch on the planet. I loved it. That's the type of promo Ronda should be giving. The fans love you. Listen to them. But at Survivor Series, you ain't taking them on. You're taking on the baddest bitch on the planet. And I don't go around calling myself the man. I'm a natural-born fucking killer, bitch. Woo! Come on, baby. How the fuck can you hate Ronda Rousey? Look at the performances she gives you since fucking WrestleMania. How new she is to this fucking business. She's going out and giving promos like that when more than half of the female roster, you could actually say more than half of the entire WWE roster, can't even deliver a good promo. And Ronda already is. I fucking love this woman, man. I really do. She is killing it on all aspects, on all sides of the fucking pendulum. Love it. And now Becky Lynch is going to respond. If she hasn't already, Becky Lynch is going to hit her on social media. Becky Lynch is going to hit her tonight on SmackDown. I love this shit. This shit is real intriguing. It's really badass. I love it, man. Becky and Ronda, and I knew it was going to be. So this week we trade off some promos, and next week, maybe, who knows, maybe Becky shows up at Raw and attacks Ronda. Who knows? I would do something cool on the go-home edition of Raw. Then again, it's Raw Creative. Are they capable of doing something cool and creative? And then we went into main event, Kurt Angle versus Drew McIntyre. A lot of people on social media bashing Kurt Angle for the way he moves around now. Calling Angle now an embarrassment. He should hang it up. To each their own. I liked that main event. I thought the story was being told beautifully. And Drew McIntyre was basically the voice of those naysayers. The voice of the people that want Kurt Angle to hang it up. And McIntyre was just fucking with Angle the whole match. And saying, you're an embarrassment. Hang it up, old man. Look at you. Look at me. And he's got his fucking face. And Kurt Angle is just being grabbed by his mug on his knees. And Kurt Angle just starts fuming. And he musters all the energy in him to grab McIntyre's ankle. But it wasn't enough. McIntyre ended up getting out. McIntyre's now pissed. McIntyre gets Angle in an angle slam and then gets Angle in his own angle lock. And I love this. Oh, I fucking look at me when I'm talking and I say this shit. I love how Kurt Angle tapped out. That is how you do it in this business. If you are somebody and not some average Joe, not some average nobody. But if you are actually somebody in this business, a legend or a future superstar, you do not tap out in 8 fucking seconds. You do not tap out like a little bitch. Like I just saw Daniel Bryan do last week, but you know that was Vince telling him to tap out quickly because Daniel Bryan's in the doghouse. Or Andrade Cien Almas, such an awesome talent, tapping out in seconds to AJ Styles. Now, I understand AJ Styles is one of the best in the world, but Cien Almas is no pushover, and he should not be tapping out like a little bitch. The way Angle tapped out last night is how you should. He's older. He doesn't have what he once had. But he's going to give it everything. And you could see it in his face, there was a sense of realism and believability that he was giving it everything. He knows he's not getting out of it. He knows he's going to have to tap. But he's so stubborn in his old age, just like he always was when he was younger, that he just refuses to tap out. And he held, and he held, and he held. So finally the pain was just too much. And he starts tapping out. The story was beautiful in that match. So you could critique his performance all you want, but I thought the performance was actually fucking awesome. Has he dropped 7 steps on every move? Most likely, yeah. But he can still go in there and do it with the old-timers, the legends, the part-timers, the nostalgia acts, whatever you want to call them. He can still go out there and do what 90+% of this roster today just isn't capable of doing. And that's telling a story through pure psychology. And when you can do that, you can captivate people. I like that main event. Drew McIntyre gets the win, rightfully so. Drew McIntyre, psychologically speaking, was epic too. Working off of Kurt, they work so well together. The story is told that Kurt no longer has a position at all for Survivor Series so far. I liked it. My problem is it should not have been the main event. Because 13 days away from Survivor Series, and we have a card for Survivor Series that we don't know what we're getting. The teams are not even officialized. We don't even have the full roster of team versus team for Raw and SmackDown. So we're going into the go-home show of Survivor Series, and we have an incomplete card. How is that okay? They put so much time into this glorified house show. Survivor Series just came about like that. And it goes to show you they had nothing planned. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Every week they're just on the fly. They're just calling it by day, man. So I don't mind the main event match. It just shouldn't have been in the main event, if that makes sense. That should have been in the middle of Raw. You should have took the tag team championship match and put that at the end, main eventing, and had it done in a cool way, where Dean Ambrose could have been involved in a much more epic way. AOP actually looks dominant, but you still continue to tell an awesome story with Seth and Dean. It was done in a lackluster form and fashion in the middle of Monday Night Raw for no fucking reason. Just to give the main event to Drew and Kurt. That was Monday Night Raw. More nonsensical, confusing, redundant bullshit. When is it going to change? I don't know. I can promise you guys I will be here when it does, though. I can assure you anyway that I will be. Because we made it this far. There's got to be the light at the end of the tunnel. There's got to be... Our hope has to come to fruition. There's got to be better in the future. Because how long can they keep doing this? Do we honestly have to wait till the XFL is formed and the XFL just fails once again for Vince to finally just put his eggs into one fucking basket again? And by then, will he be 105 years old and is he even capable of running the fucking company? I don't know. But this is just garbage, man. And with this type of talent, there's no excuse for 3-hour shows to be put on like this. If you're giving me 3 hours and I'm the creator, buckle up. You're going to have to, on your couch or on your fucking recliner chair, wherever you're watching Raw, you're going to have a seatbelt because you're going to have to be buckled in because I'm taking you for a wild creative ride. I promise you. That brings me up a tweet last night. I think it was Frank. I apologize if it wasn't Frank, but one of my Twitter followers sent me a thing from WWE. They're looking for a writer's assistant, like a real Stamford, Connecticut job, writer's assistant. And I was sent this. So I retweeted it, and I said, what do you guys think? Just fucking around. And people were just coming right out. BC, do it, man. You gotta do it. And thank you guys so much. Much love to all you guys. But I tweeted about 20 minutes later, I said, in regards to my last post, I will never accept this job. And I told you guys why. That's a writer's assistant. I am nobody's bitch. I am nobody's fucking gopher or runner. I don't follow anybody. I follow 0 fucking people. I am a leader. I beat to my own drum, and I right my own fucking wrongs, and I right my own ship. Nobody is going to tell me how shit should be done. I'm not the writer's assistant. I will be the fucking writer, the creator, the fucking booker, the man. Sorry, Seth. Sorry, Becky. I'll be the fucking man, not no writer's assistant, which is just the writer's bitch. And if that's the case, then all I am is the lackey to the non-creative dipshit that I've been talking about since I started this channel. And I refuse to be a fraud. Because if I just take that job as a writer's assistant for WWE, then I'm just a fraud. Everything I said for 2 years was all bullshit. Because here I am. I took the first opportunity I got to be inside WWE. And now on my social media, I'm going to praise everything about them. What are you guys talking about? This was an awesome show. Right? I'll be one of those fucking dipshits. I'll be a company stooge. A yes man. So yeah, I could have made a lot of fucking money applying for this job. I had all the fucking, everything they need for this job. When they sit me down for the interview, do you honestly think I was walking out of Stanford not getting that job? With the passion that I have, talking to Triple H, talking to Vince, talking to Stephanie. Do you honestly think I'd walk out of Stanford and not have that job? Please. Please. You know I would. But I'm not going to jump at the first opportunity. No. That's not what I am about. I have more morals and values than you think just because I didn't boycott one fucking show on a Friday afternoon called Crown Jewel. Now, I told you guys from day one, and I stand firm in my decision. I will never waver. If I ever decide to join forces with WWE, my one condition, and it's a deal breaker, is I have to have control over the content I am putting out. If Vince, Triple H, or any other suit and tie is not okay with that, or that just can't be, then our relationship can't be. It's that simple. That was Monday Night Raw, guys. We'll tune into SmackDown tonight. They are now 12 days away from Survivor Series. Their go-home show is next week. They need to start putting all the pieces to their puzzle together tonight, and we will be there to view it, and I will be with you guys tomorrow to talk about it. SmackDown's review and reaction tomorrow morning. For now, nothing but thunderstorms out there, but that ain't gonna stop the Amplified Man because I was born on electricity, motherfucker. So we're gonna coffee it up, we're gonna caffeine it up, and we're gonna whoop a lot of fucking ass today. I can already feel it. Hopefully you guys do the same too. Kick Monday's ass. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Check you later.